Thank you all so much for being here on this Friday. It's gorgeous outside, and so we're just really honored that you guys are spending this time with us. With the acoustics of this room, if you don't mind being quiet throughout the presentation, we're able to hear all the side conversations. So it means so much that one mic, one voice, and we'll make sure that it's interactive as Nancy will be leading. But before we get started, we wanted to read Nancy's bio, so I'm going to pass it over to Numso.
Thank you. Hey, everyone. So Nancy is a compassionate product leadership coach on a mission to make sometimes overwhelming world product management more accessible and enjoyable. She uplifts product leaders to exceed their goals faster with ease, focusing on strategic product thinking, storytelling, leadership, communication, and abundance mindset. Nancy has nearly 20 years of experience in engineering and product management. She has led product teams that built for hundreds of millions of users, generating tens of millions in revenue at startups as well as large companies like Meta, Roku, and Oracle. Nancy's experience as an adoptee and immigrant allows her to offer empathy and support, helping clients cultivate resilience and maintain wellness while tackling the unique challenges of product management in big tech. Nancy holds a BS and MS in electrical engineering from Carnegie Mellon University. This academic background combined with Nancy's extensive professional experience enables her to offer well-rounded guidance and support for those growing their careers in product management. So if we can all give a round of applause to Nancy.
Good to be back. Should I start? Yeah, okay. Hi everyone, my name is Nancy. I was here last year to talk about a different topic on how to ace product sense interviews, but I just learned that you're a brand new class, so it's very, very nice to meet you all. Today, we're going up funnel on your job search journey. First, we have to get more interviews before we could prepare and ace our PM interviews, and that's what we're talking about today. I hope you're enjoying your lunch. Is it good? Good. All right. I'm CMU alum, class of 2006, almost 20 years ago, and now I'm a PM coach. I was PM director at Roku before I became a full-time coach, and before that, I was PM manager at Meta. And while I was at Meta, I conducted over 200 interviews for ICs and leadership candidates. So I understand the PM interview process very well. I was also part of hiring committee discussions. So I understand what hiring managers are looking for. And I also understand what hiring committees are looking for. And now I help clients get in and thrive at big tech at level 6 and above. So these are your directors, group PMs, principal PMs, and staff PM levels. And these are the companies that have been helping my clients get into and now thrive at. I understand that you're here and your goal is to thrive at your dream company as a product manager. And that means you want to be solving problems for your end users through the products that you manage. And there's a roadmap for us to get you to meet the vision that you have set for your career goals. Step 1 of that roadmap is to get employers to see you and then get them to hear you out. And then after that, we'll get them to love having you on the team. And today we're talking about step number 1, which is getting employers to see you. What does that mean? So before we talk about strategies and tactics for your PM job search journey, it's important that we talk about mindset first, because mindset is the underlying OS that drives all of your decision-making, your strategies, the way you think, and the actions that you take. And the mindset that I like to have for job search is you're basically trying to get a new tribe to accept you. You're trying to join a new tribe. What does that mean? So let's think back to our caveman and women days, our ancestors. So back then, your chances of survival is exponentially higher if you're part of a tribe that is thriving. And so if we flip the perspective a little bit and think about the tribal leaders' perspective, what are they looking for when they're selecting members to join? They want the new member to fit in with the new tribe. They want the new member to add a lot of value in ways that fit this particular tribe. Every tribe has a different need and every tribe has a different culture. And so they definitely want to look for members that fit in, that won't disrupt the stability and the balance of this tribe, and new members that will help this tribe thrive for the safety and the security and the growth of the collective, of the thrive as a collective. So that's the mindset. And the most needle moving tactic that you could take for this tribal mentality is to learn to speak their language. Now, I don't mean just speaking English. I mean using their words, really understanding the words that they use. I'll give you an example of what I mean by this. So in terms of career growth, the word that I like to use is up level. Now, other people might explain this as leveling up. But if I were to meet someone who says, I'm working on up leveling myself, I would know right away that we're kind of speaking the same language. We're kind of the same background. We're both speaking English, but I know right away we're kind of from the same history, same journey in the past. And if I meet someone who says, I want to level up, I understand what they mean, but I know that we're not exactly the same. It's the same feeling that we get when we meet someone from our hometown, right? If I know that you're from my hometown, I know right away that you probably will understand me. I know right away that you probably understand where I'm coming from. And it's a lot easier for me to resonate with what you're saying if I know that we're kind of the same or our past is similar. That's the feeling that you want the other party to have when you go into job search situations, on your interviews, and how you present yourself online. When people feel like we're speaking the same language as them, it's much, much easier to connect. And this is just based on human psychology. And that's a mindset that I want you to think about with every action that you take. All right. So where do employers see you? There are three main places. First one is your LinkedIn profile, and then in your outreach messages. And then the third place is your resume. So let's start by talking about your LinkedIn profile. Why is that significant? It's your digital representation. It's how the world perceives you. It's how you want to be seen. This is your identity and what you want other people to know about you. Now, thinking about LinkedIn, there's two parts. There's above the fold and then all the other details below the fold, right? Above the fold, you have your profile picture and then you have your banner, your headline. It's very similar to seeing all the billboards on 101 when we drive by, right? You make a very split-second judgment against the billboard. And if you like what you see, you might Google them after. Similar to your LinkedIn profile, above the fold is your billboard. People will make a split-second judgment against what they see, which is your banner, your headline, your photo. And if they want to get to know you better, they'll click on your about section to learn more about you, or they'll keep on scrolling to read about all of your experiences. That's what LinkedIn is. So question for you, how do recruiters see your LinkedIn? Anyone want to take a stab at this? How do they see your LinkedIn? Okay, the open to work flag. Okay, anyone?
They have a recruiter who like.
Yes, that's right. There are recruiters who are proactively searching for the perfect candidate, for the perfect new member that they want to invite to their tribe. This is them being proactive. And then once they find you on the search results page, they'll review you. Or if you apply for the job, or if you go through referrals, they'll review you. It's a two-step process. Most of the time, people focus on number two, but we should go upper funnel because there are recruiters working full-time to find the perfect candidates. So starting with how they search. How do you think they do the actual search? Perfect. Keywords and filters. Here's an UI of the recruiter tool that I found on the internet. On the top of the page, you have the search bar. On the left, you have a bunch of filters. And then in the middle, you have more filters. So lots of keywords and lots of filters. And in the upper left, you have spotlight. So insights that are only available on the LinkedIn platform. You have insights like, are you likely going to respond? Or have you engaged with this brand before? Have you connected with a company before? And have you applied for the jobs before? These are just insights. So knowing that this is how recruiters search, what do they see after they search? Search results page. What's on the search results page? How many candidates are on the search results page? What do you think? Hundreds, yes. If not thousands, if not tens of thousands, right? There's a lot of candidates. Maybe 42,000 candidates. So knowing this, next question. There we go. How can you ensure that they actually see you on the search results page? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, paying premium. What about an unpaid tactic?
SEO, like search engine optimization.
Yeah.
Try to put some keywords.
Yes. You have to rank high. That's how you show up on the search results page. And after seeing you on the search results page, what will make them click on you? Headline, yes. Because your preview looks like it could do the job, right? So let's summarize. How do recruiters see you? First, you have to rank high, and then you have to get them to click on you, and then getting them to review you. That's the recruiter's journey. So here is our first exercise for the day. I want you to work with your team and come up with 3 data points for LinkedIn to use to decide your ranking. I'm gonna put on a timer for about 5 minutes. Oh.
Recruiters don't really want to be reaching out to people who don't really
I don't know, but yeah.
Whether they have their OIC.
Make that face.
I went to high school and being up in airplane, so like I know a little bit about
One more minute.
price-wise, it's about the same. Yeah, but the weather stuff, I really like that. Yeah, I get so depressed when it's birthday.
Okay. Time's up. Who would like to share what your group came up with? Lady in the back. Huh? Can you what? Sorry. Number of connections. Okay. Number of followers. Okay. Keywords. Yeah.
And I think the third thing is number of endorsements.
Number of endorsements. All very good data points. Anyone else? Yeah.
For our team, we talked about response time.
Response time.
Yeah, in terms of like messages, like how to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we had open to work on our profile.
Okay.
We also said the premium boost. So
Premium.
we also said profile completion. So like how
Yes.
the profile is.
Love that.
And then followers.
Followers. Yes.
Yeah, and then skills.
Skills. Yes. Lady in the back.
Our number one is relevant experience.
Relevant experience.
Second is skill set.
Yeah.
And third is profile engagement.
Profile engagement. What does that mean?
So, yeah, so if you're active on LinkedIn.
Active on LinkedIn.
How many people respond?
Yes. Perfect. Perfect. How do you rank high is another question. Well, if I were to ask the question in another way, it's basically what might LinkedIn optimize for? So This particular tool, the recruiter tool, is designed for recruiters. And so LinkedIn would be optimizing for the recruiting experience. So what do recruiters want? They want to find the best candidate for the job, right? They want to find new members to join their tribe. And so they definitely want relevance. I know a lot of you mentioned, yes, you got it, relevance. And I think this team mentioned something about response time. And I think the team in the back also said engagement, yes. So the next thing that LinkedIn will use to optimize for your ranking is predicting how likely you are to respond back to the recruiter. Otherwise, it would be bad UX for the recruiter. They're designing the platform for the recruiters after all. So what does relevancy mean? Keywords, similar profile, where you are, your industry, the groups that you're in. Let's talk about similar profile for a second. Tribal mentality, right? We want to look like we fit in. And so our profile needs to look similar to the employees that already work there. That is going to be part of your relevancy calculation that LinkedIn calculates on the search results page. And then the second category is prediction. How would they know if you're likely to respond? Well, you're likely in job search mode. But what does that mean? It means you're updating your profile, you are applying for jobs, you're open to work, and you're always responding to email, and then you're connected to the recruiter, right? Let's talk about open to work for a bit. So if you have two candidates that have the same relevancy score, one is open to work today, and then another one is open to work, like say 6 months ago. Which one would you rank higher if you're the algorithm or if you're the PM for LinkedIn's search functionality? Who would you rank higher? Why is that? Why today?
We need the recruiters. They'll not want to wait.
Yes, exactly. So if someone has been open to work for 6 months, it could mean that they kind of just forgot to update LinkedIn. It could mean that they maybe they're not really actively searching. Maybe they already found something else or they switch industries. There's a bunch of reasons why someone could be open to work for more than 6 months versus someone who is open to work today. That means job search is top of mind for them, right? So these are signals that LinkedIn would look for to decide your ranking. Next question. Since we talked a lot about keywords, what are they? What are keywords? Skills, yes. Skills. Basically, it's the terms that recruiters will use to search. That's what keywords are. So it's not necessarily skills, yes, but relevant skills based on the job description. And so next time, if you're looking to apply for a particular role or particular job family, you want to look at the job description carefully and put on your recruiter's hat. If you're the recruiter and you were to look for the perfect candidate on the LinkedIn profile that has billions of people, what keywords would you use to search? And you got to make sure that you have those keywords on your LinkedIn profile. And where should you include the keywords? Where exactly on your LinkedIn profile? Heading, skills. Yes. Bio. Basically everywhere. Yes. You want to include your keywords everywhere because that affects your ranking. So what does everywhere mean? It means your headline, your about section, your expanses, and your skills. Yes. And what do you need to show so that your preview looks good? Well, let's take a look at what preview looks like. All right. So in the middle of the page, you have list of profile pictures. So if you don't have a picture, I highly recommend that you put a picture on your LinkedIn profile. And then you'll have your name, your headline, your current position, and your past position. And if you look at the top, 42,000 candidates in the first tab, and then 83 candidates in the second tab. So if you're the recruiter, which tab would you go to first? The tab that has 42,000 people or the tab that has 83 people? 83, yes, that's why the open to work flag is so important. Yes.
How does this data get affected if a person just gives open to work to everyone versus he gives open to work to only recruiters? Does this data get affected or it's the same?
I don't think it's different. So there's a difference between the flag and the banner. It depends on who you want to show open to work to. The banner shows everyone that you're open to work. The flag only shows recruiters. So it's a personal preference. But in the back end, recruiters won't really, the algorithm, basically the 83 people in the tab, that's based on the flag. And sometimes you will hear advice that says you should probably flip the flag once in a while, every week, every other week, so that you always appear at the top of the search results page. It's because that's how the algorithm is designed. They're predicting how likely you'll get back to the recruiter. All right, so let's take a look at the headline and your current position and your past position. If you don't have product management experience in the past, you should still put product manager or product owner or product management somewhere in your headline or in the current position, if possible, because that's how you'll show up. Right, so in this screenshot, the recruiter put in the job title of project manager, and the search results page shows you people with the term project manager somewhere in the headline, in the current position, in the past position. And that's why you should put product somewhere in those three places so that you'll actually show up on the search results page. There we go. Let's talk about examples of effective headlines. The first one, senior PM drove 40% of TikTok's ad revenue with brand ad products. And the second one, growth PM, SEO, GTM, B2B SaaS. Why are these effective headlines? Why do you think they add value for recruiters? Accomplishments. Results. Impact. Perfect.
I feel like that one is more likely to be included in experience session, but not included in the headline because it's details.
Well, let's go back to what the preview looks like. Preview looks like this, right? You want to optimize for click-through. So if you put it in the experiences section, it's not going to show up here. So there's definitely value in putting more about you in the headline. And right away, if I'm looking for someone with ads experience, this PM would look like a great fit, right? If I'm looking for someone who understands B2B SaaS, growth, go-to-market, this PM would look like a great fit. And this happens before I look at their about section, and this happens before I look at their experiences. This appears on their billboard. So if I just driving by, it helps with my split-second judgment. And if I want to get to know them better, I will click through. That's the point. All right, so here's our second exercise. Work with your team to create effective headlines. Maybe you could just come up with one headline, and I'll give you about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty good one headline.
Share with you that they've heard of Korea as well. So I know some of them have like profiles. I'm not sure if like in terms of yeah, just wanted to share just in case because some of them do LinkedIn thing Koreas. Yeah.
Like, yeah, something, yeah. or even like for me, me myself, I'm an aspiring product manager because I didn't have any like a lot of like substantial product management. Yeah, but it's good to like mention like that's a really good one. Yeah. Yeah, entry level. I don't like yeah. Yeah. Level if it's
On the
most proud of. Yeah, like
2 minutes.
we have like people looking for level of just recognize clear, better be present, better be impact and desirable skills.
One minute.
I think that's a good idea.
Time's up. All right. Who would like to share the headline that they came up with? We're looking for volunteers. Guy in the back. Wait, can you say that again? Security? Information security at CMU. That's good. And why did you pick those words?
They are covering almost everything that you are doing in security.
Okay, so you're targeting a role in security. Perfect. Anyone else? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so we wrote product management and then that carried.
Yeah.
And then the industry.
Industry.
And then
what's an example of industry?
For example, like e-commerce.
E-commerce, okay.
And then another carried and then X and then the company names your.
X company, yes.
Or the current company.
Sure, yes.
And then CME at the end.
And CME at the end.
What I have written is Carnegie Mellon University Product Management Grad, then a pipe.
Okay.
Then 3 companies that I have worked at.
Okay.
Then a pipe. And then 4 domains that I primarily work at. Work in, that is product, code, content, and community.
What's an example of domain?
So I have written Microsoft, Amazon, Harness, the 3 companies that I have worked.
What about your domain?
I have written Carnegie Mellon University Product Management Grad. Is that enough, or should I add?
Well, you could be a PM for almost anything. What's an example of a domain that you're thinking of?
Like artificial intelligence, cloud computing, something like that?
Well, so for example, growth could be a domain, or B2B SaaS, or ads, or e-commerce.
In a scenario where I don't actually know which domain I want to go because I haven't been a PM.
What about your project experiences? What domain was that in?
That was scripting, deployment. It was cloud computing.
Maybe dev efficiency, something like that. Yeah, dev tools. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? What about this team?
Ours is more like a template. So like we said role, like whether we're looking for it or already am, and level if it's like kind of high, like senior.
Oh, okay.
And current / previous employer, prominent preferred, like they're better, like Meta, like Adobe.
Sure.
Those employers.
Yeah.
Known by a lot of people, and also impact, the impact that we take most pride in, and also desirable skills, which is largely contingent to the role that.
Yes. Great, good job. Was that your first time thinking this hard about headlines? That means I did a good job today to bring this to your awareness. Good. All right. So I wanted to step back and reflect on how we got here so far. The tactics that we were just discussing on how to rank high and how to get recruiters to click on you. And then the things that you would do to refine your profile so they review you and then have a good connection with you. This process that we just went through, I would like to call applying product thinking to the job search process. What is product thinking? It is rooted in user empathy, where before you think about solutions, you want to understand the problem. You want to understand the situation. You're trying to understand what the other party is thinking, is feeling, and what their goals are. So in this situation, before we came to this conclusion, this 3-step process, we first started talking about the tribal mentality. Then we talked about what recruiters are looking for, what the job is that they're trying to get done. And then we backed it up by thinking about the tools that they're using. They're using the LinkedIn tool. And so we were thinking about, okay, if I'm the PM for LinkedIn, how would I design the tool to provide a good user experience for the recruiter, right? So there's a lot of emphasis that we just put on the other party's perspective, basically the recruiter's perspective. And then we came up with this 3-step process. Now we could decide and think about the right tactics and the right strategies that we could use to solve the problem for the recruiter. This process is product thinking process. And I just thought I would highlight that. That's how I was thinking about this presentation. Because as PMs, product thinking is how we should use, is what we should use to solve problems. So I could have attended this workshop and just given you a list of checkboxes to check off, right? Okay, this is what you do on your headline. This is what you do to rank high. But I wanted you to have the tool to apply this way of thinking, because this is not going to be the only problem that you work on. So that's product thinking, applying product thinking to the job search process. All right. So we talked about ranking high, getting them to click on you, and then getting them to review you. So let's talk about what that means to get them to review you. Since we're talking about LinkedIn profile, there's things that are above the fold and things are below the fold. We already talked about the photo and the headline because those things show up on the search results page. So let's talk about the other thing that's not part of the search results page. That's your banner and your about section. Everything top of the fold it paints a picture of how others will perceive you. And that's where people are making a split second judgment against whether they want to get to know you better. And if they do, basically, if you pass the sniff test, they'll continue to scroll. They'll look at your featured section, your experience section. They'll click into the about section. And so we have to think about the LinkedIn profile from their perspective. Let's talk about the banner. A lot of people don't utilize the space for the banner, but it takes up so much room. It's prime real estate. Here's an example of a banner that I think is very effective. Now, we're not doing the optimization for the banner to please the algorithm because algorithm can't read what's on the image. We're doing this exercise for the human eye. So when recruiters or hiring managers or people that you're networking with, when they arrive on your LinkedIn profile, they're going to see your banner. A lot of people just put a pretty image. I recommend that you actually go into Canva, put keywords about what your expertise are in, and really utilize the banner because that's top of fold. And now let's talk about the about section. Here's an example of the about. I hope you're able to see it. Here's an example of someone's about section that I think is very effective. Can you see that? I'm gonna step aside. Why do you think this is a very good about section? Yes, it's so easy to read, right? It's not in paragraphs. What else? Very to the point. Yes. I love that he put a section down here on professional skills and then another section down here on his domain knowledge. So these are examples of what you could put for domain. And if you look at his profile, I love how he categorized. So in the first section, he talks about growing the business and scaling the business. The second section, he talked about growing team and scaling the team. It's more about people skills. And then the third section, he talked about growth mindset for himself. So first section is company impact. Second section is people skills. Third section is personal growth. I just love how he wrote the about section and I wanted to share that with you. So you could do that for today when you get home. Think about what you want your about section to look like. All right. So 3 places where employers will see you. The first one is LinkedIn profile. We just talked about it. LinkedIn profile is basically your marketing campaign. The next place where employers see you is in your outreach messages. Outreach is like your sales tactic. So LinkedIn is your marketing tool. Outreach is your sales tool. When we're interviewing for a job, it's basically marketing and selling ourselves. So now let's talk about sales. This is not something we spend a lot of time thinking about as technologists or as product managers, but marketing and sales are very, very good skills to have. So let's talk about outreach. Your outreach strategy has 2 steps. The first step is to find the right people. And this is very important when you're networking. You could network with millions of people, but you don't have that much time, right? Time is finite. So you don't want to be wasting your time talking and networking with people who won't really add that much value to your job search process. So you want to find the right people and then make the connection request. So the question is, how do you find the right people? And who are they? These are basically people who are likely to respond. and not just sending your message and letting it go into a black hole and get ghosted. Like, we don't like that. So we want to find people who are likely to respond. So let's do an exercise. How can you tell if people are likely going to respond to you?
Their activity level,
What does that mean, connectivity level?
like they're commenting on posts regularly.
They're active on the platform. There you go. They're active on the platform. So let's find them. How do you perform a search to find people from your target company who are active on LinkedIn? I'm going to bring up my LinkedIn and do this live. How can we find them? Here's my LinkedIn. How do we find people from your target companies who are active? Lady in the back or in the middle?
You search the company name and look at posts.
You go into the search, you go into post, and then what do you do next? How do you do that? Filter, all filters? And then? Date posted. Sorry. Date posted, maybe past month. Great. And then go into all filters. And then what do I do? If you choose from company, that means that post is posted by the company. Author company. Yeah. It's so the search here is to find people who are active from your target company. So let's put some target companies here. What should I put? Google? What else? LinkedIn, okay. Let's do that. Let's run a search. Well, so this post is posted a year ago, so we don't want that. I thought that maybe I didn't. Okay, there we go. There we go, 5 hours ago. These are the people. Okay, this guy's from LinkedIn. This guy's from Google, posted a year ago. This is how you find people who are active on the platform from your target companies, and these are the people that you can network with. So the next prompt for you is, how would you find hiring managers from your target companies? How do you find them?
With role like HR.
How do you find HR?
So I think filtering the role there, like whole filter, I'm not sure is there any.
Hiring manager, unless you are applying for an HR position, they would not be an HR person. Sorry, go ahead. Look for the keyword hiring. So if I'm hiring, right, I would say I'm hiring. I wouldn't say talent acquisition, but along the same line. So let's try that. I'm going to put the word hiring in here. And then what I do next to find hiring managers from my target companies. Right now we're searching by posts. So let's change that to people. And then I could go to all filters. Current company. All right, let's see who from Microsoft and Apple are talking about hiring. So this is basically searching for people who have the word hiring in their headline. We can also search for posts. Tina posted, "Come work at a great team, we're hiring." Is this clear how you can find the right people now? And then you want to search for, okay, you could sort by latest. There you go. Sort by latest, and then you can make the connection request. All right. So that is how we find the right people, and now we connect with them. Let's talk about best practices. Be respectful of the recipient's time. And again, let's think back to tribal mentality. If we want to connect with them, we're not part of their tribe yet. And so for them to open up, we have to show a good reason for them to open up. they're also very busy. So we want to be respectful of their time. It has to be a relationship, and a relationship is a give and take type of situation. We're asking them to do us a favor. We're asking to take time away from them. And so we also want to think about what we can give them back in return. Show them how it could add value to them. It's more about them and less about us. And then make things easier for them. That's how you could open a door and hopefully lead to meaningful conversations. So there are different types of connection requests. The key here is to use the words that they use, right? We want to speak the same language. The first type of connection is just making a connection request. And the second type is asking for an introduction. So let's say, hey, I see that you're connected to this person. Can you please introduce me? That's basically the second use case. Third use case is connecting with the recruiter. Now, in the interest of time, because I'm running out of time, I have scripts written for you in my deck. So I'm not going to go over it here live with you. I'm going to send you the link afterwards, and you can access it. Basically expand. Click on expand, and you'll see the script that I wrote for you that you can leverage. The key here is to offer them something, as in you're adding value, you're showing that you care. All right. So we talked about LinkedIn profile being a place where recruiters will see you. And we talked about the outreach message. Now let's talk about your resume. Resume is different from LinkedIn because LinkedIn there's only one instance of LinkedIn. A resume, you have unlimited instances of your resume. This is where we want to tailor to the job description. Let's talk about best practices. We want to demonstrate the most important thing. Again, let's go back to tribal mentality. We're trying to fit in, right? We want to demonstrate how our experiences align with the job description. That means we want to include skills and keywords that match. We want to showcase relevant experiences and achievement. The key here is relevance. So that's basically a big part of the theme for today's discussion. How are you going to show that you're relevant? And a formula that I like is published by Google, X by Y by Z formula. Let's talk about what that is. X is accomplished X as measured by Y, and then by doing Z. So let's walk through some examples. What did you do? I improved user engagement. As measured how? 15% boost in DAO and 10% reduction in churn rate. By doing what? By conducting market research and user interviews to refine feature specs. If you follow this formula, your resume will be very, very easy to read. I have a sample resume here submitted by one of you, and I wanted to share my thoughts on this. Now, there isn't a good or bad resume in a vacuum because a resume is only good or bad from the context of a job description. So the feedback that I'm sharing now is very general. I hope you could see. Okay. So at the top of the resume, you have your introduction, aspiring technical product manager. Now, depending on the role, if they're looking for a technical product manager, you should leave that title as is. But if they're looking for a product manager, I would remove the word technical. This is us speaking the same language and using the same words as them. And the first line here is very creative and very unique. So creative edge, blending Catholic precision and artistic vision. It's very creative, but I actually don't know how it applies to a product management role. Because in a typical product management role, I'm not really looking for someone with a creative edge, blending Catholic precision. Okay, I don't know if I'm saying that word right. An artistic vision. So I would maybe use that line below the fold if they want to continue to get to know you. But the second line in the introduction is very relevant. Skilled in product strategy, research, and leading teams. Great. Product managers do those things. So I would definitely lead with the second sentence and not necessarily the first sentence, unless the job description looks for these traits. And then the ending of the intro, focus on community impact. It may be important for some roles, but not other roles. So if the role looks for someone who could drive community impact, I would leave it. But if the role doesn't, I would take it out. So that's what I mean by showing your relevant experiences. And you want to take out information that doesn't really add value to this particular tribe. So looking down, so now that I am interested in getting to know this person more, I will continue to read down the resume. In the middle of the professional experiences section, I could tell that this candidate is very technical, right? They had a technical background. And because I read in the intro that this person is skilled in product strategy, I'm going to be looking for evidence of this candidate driving product strategy in the past. Now, if I read through the professional experiences, I could tell that this person knows about deployment process. I could tell that this person collaborated with product managers and established KPIs. Those are all very good, but I'm not seeing evidence of product strategy. The third bullet here, proactively addressed and resolved over 500 customer queries. Now, the word query is not necessarily used a lot in our day-to-day language, so I don't really know what it means. I could guess it probably means customer cases or customer questions or customer tickets. So you want to pay attention to the words that you're using with your potential employers. Do they use the word queries or do they use other words like cases and tickets? You want to speak their language. So looking at the experience here at Oracle, I'm not seeing evidence of product strategy. So now I have a question mark in my mind. And as I continue to read through, now I'm looking at the projects that this person has done. The first project on cancer cells, and this person was a team lead. Now, if you're applying for a product manager position, and if you think that you had transferable product management skills, I would replace team lead and just put product manager on there if you have done PME things on this project. And in reading this project, it's not very clear to me the people problem that you're trying to solve with detecting cancer cells. I could tell that it's a very technical project, and I could tell that this project is about detecting cancer cells, but what happens next? Why is that important? Right, that part is missing. And then the third, shop bot hack 36 product owner and manager. Now I have a question. Are you saying that you're a product owner and a product manager? I would pick one and not both, or maybe you're just a team manager, but that's very vague, right? We want to tailor the job description. So I would just put either product owner or product manager. And notice the word product here is misspelled. It's missing an R. So that's important. We want to pay attention to the details, or we want to be detail oriented. So definitely do your spell check. Now with this shop bot project, this person led a team, develop a bot using technical techniques to create product captions. But what does that mean? What problem does that solve? Where is the product strategy? So I'm not seeing product strategy in the experiences. I'm not seeing product strategy in your projects. If you say that in the introduction, you want to tell a cohesive story. So that's the change, and that's the recommendation I would make for this particular resume, not knowing which job you're applying to. These are just general feedback. Any questions about that? Clear? Good, okay. You have a question?
Yeah. So we talked a lot about how to showcase your relevant experience with the keywords and how to market it better. My question is, what if you do not have a relevant experience to show for, but you are targeting an industry in an entry-level job?
I believe that because you're here, you're doing projects that will be relevant. Is that a fair assumption?
It is, but like you have been in the hiring committee. That's education, but the official on-paper experience, how does the lack of it makes your profile, affect your profile?
Well, you want to show that you can add value to the tribe, right? There has to be something that you can bring to the table. And so when you're just working on projects, maybe you're gathering specs, maybe you're doing user interviews, maybe you're trying to understand requirements and then building the solution. All of these things are PM skills that you should add to your resume. And if you have product strategy skills, definitely add that. Okay. Okay, we're at the end of our workshop. So let's recap and summarize. The mindset here is tribal mentality. Your job is to find a new tribe and getting the tribal leaders to accept you. That's the mindset. And this is how recruiters see you. It's a 3-step process. You need to rank high. You need to get them to click through. So that means your preview needs to look good, and then get them to review you. And then on your resume, you want to demonstrate how your experiences align with the role. Everything is a fit. It's like a missing. So they're looking for a missing puzzle piece. You're the puzzle piece. So you have to show how you can fit that gap. The next step here, after you connect with the right person, is to tell me about yourself. And I have a script available on my website that you can download. Here's a QR code. This is the same script that my clients use, and they're able to advance to the next round 15 minutes into the conversation. So definitely take a look there, and happy to answer any questions that you might have. Any questions?
Did you work for Korea as well?
I have a Korea page. I'm on the Korea platform, but I didn't work for Korea. Do you have a Korea page?
I don't, but I had the CEO.
Deb. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Hi, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
The first question is, what would you recommend adding on both your resume and LinkedIn for APM roles, like fresh graduates who are trying to get into PM? First question. And yeah.
Okay. So the question is, what do you add to the resume and your LinkedIn as a
APM role,
associate product manager? Well, I definitely want to see why you think you could do the job. Does it mean that you have done projects before where you shipped something and drove impact? Does it mean that you know how to come up with requirements and work with engineering? Right, I would have those questions. So that's what I would add to the resume and your LinkedIn. Are those things that you can add to your resume? Perfect. Yes.
Piggybacking off of what she said, what if you don't have any like relevant experience in regards to that? Like even like projects, like you're on a project, but you're not necessarily the lead, you're just like working on the project.
If you don't have experience, but you want to be a PM, then the question here is, why do you think you could do the job? And if you don't have to be the lead to have PME skills. So let's talk about what a PM does. What does a PM do? Let's start there. What does a PM do? Discovery.
Solution architecture.
Maybe not. Okay. Solution architecture, and what's the third thing? Delivery.
And support.
Yeah, okay. So basically, there's only 2 things product managers do: problem space, finding the right problem to solve, and then working with the teams to solve it. There's only 2 things. So on your team, you must be doing maybe a lot of things to pick the right problem and then working with teams to solve it. And since PM only does those 2 things, you could definitely come up with something to highlight that, I would assume. Otherwise, you wouldn't be looking for a PM job.
Another question is, when it comes to LinkedIn and posting on LinkedIn, do you recommend kind of doing the blogs that people do on Medium on LinkedIn and create that sort of network for yourself, especially for PM roles, I think.
Are you asking whether you should write it on Medium and then posting it versus writing it natively on LinkedIn? So if you want to optimize for the algorithm, they prefer native content. Depends on what you're optimizing for, though. If you're building your brand and you don't want to be tied to LinkedIn, then you could write it on Substack or Medium or wherever. But if you're optimizing for the algorithm, it should be native. Yes.
Does it help to have more impressions on your post and increased engagement? Will that boost your ranking in the recruiter page as well?
They're searching for relevancy. So it depends on if your post is relevant. Is there a hand raised in the back? No? Okay. Are we good?
Nancy, applause for being here.
Thank you.
We got you a piece of swag. One that if you don't have yet.
I love CME swag. Oh my
Sure.
gosh, thank you so much.
And we want to do a group photo with you.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Love it. Thank you.
Like it.
Yes. Thank you.
Hey guys, we're gonna move the chairs to the side and we're gonna take a group photo in the front.